Hello and welcome to our webinar today, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. We are very excited to be joined by Randall Henderson today, COO of Rentvine. And the topic we will be deep diving into today is all about boosting your client satisfaction. And of course, the partnership between Inspection Express and Rentvine. Why we decided to partner and how we're really increasing efficiencies in our industry. So thanks so much for joining. This webinar will be recorded, so everyone will receive a copy afterwards. But if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, please throw those in the questions box and we will answer those either throughout or at the end there as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Randall, thank you so much for joining us today. Randall is the COO of Rentvine. He has a wealth of experience and expertise with over 20 years experience in the real estate industry mixed with property management. Prior to Rentvine, Randall spent nearly a decade at Property Management Inc., PMI, where he held key leadership positions, including VP of Residential and Commercial. His expertise spans throughout marketing, training, support, and operations. And we are very pleased to have you on this webinar with us today. So thanks so much for joining us, Randall.
Yeah, hello everybody. Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And if you're like me, you probably just want to listen to Kelly talk the whole time with that beautiful accent. We are in very different time zones right now. So thanks for coordinating this, for the invite, and for joining us today, guys. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I use my accent to my advantage for sure.
Of course.
We've also got Alex on the line here. So Alex is our business development specialist in the US. Alex is also Australian, so he's got a great accent as well. Although I think your accent's awesome too. Where Alex has just moved to California. He shares 10 years experience in the industry. So he has just moved there to share his experience and expertise with you guys in the US as well. So I'm sure you'll get to meet Alex at the next conference or online or in person somewhere. And myself, who is the Global Growth Officer, 15 years experience and 10 years with Inspection Express. So part of the furniture here for a very long time. I thought just before we get straight into the topic, Randall, it would be great. I was listening to a podcast the other day that you were on, and you've got so much experience in the industry, which I think paints a great picture for the topic we're about to get into. So if you wouldn't mind yourself and your background and what led you to your current position as COO at Rentvine.
Yeah, and it's kind of a winding road when you talk about like 20 years. You're like, that's just sounds to me like a lot. And my kids will tell you how old I am now and how much I'm just like, on the other side of life. But actually got started in real estate as an investor and kind of living that dream. Reading Rich Dad Poor Dad just kind of helped me to invest and invest and invest. And eventually I grew a property management company just with the realization that, look, the key to successful investing is having a great tenant stay long term and really just helping them to be satisfied and to be happy and kind of gauging that. But when you manage for other people, you add this additional layer around the property manager and like that new client relationship. And so as I built my property management company, I realized that like that was kind of the key to just succeeding long term, both on my own investments and then for other people. After like 10 years of doing that, I finally sold that property management company and joined a franchise group that teaches property managers how to build their own companies, and that was PMI. So I did that for another 10 years. And during that time, you just realize how much more technology is coming into the space and eventually, trying to build the best tech stack. And I know that many of you guys out there in property management are looking at that overwhelming amount of technology and trying to navigate that space. That's what led me to Rentvine, is just trying to find the best technology, a partner who is open, who integrates, who brings in the best partnerships with groups like Inspection Express to kind of deliver the best experience for both clients and then for tenants as well. And so that's kind of the journey that led me to where I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Randall. Thanks for sharing. So we'll get into client satisfaction, obviously. Yeah, it's a great topic to get into. I guess in this industry, we're always talking about real estate and property management. It's very much focused on the property, but we are very much people driven. So, every day we're dealing with tenants, vendors, landlords, property managers, all types of people. So the client satisfaction is obviously very, very important. So our main areas of why it is important is obviously we want to retain business. So high retention rates is great. And I'll let Randall just touch on how we can utilize these technologies to retain our clients. Also, business growth is another point. Positive reviews. So we always want to be asking our clients for those Google reviews, how we can, get that from our clients as well, and also increased lease renewals. So we want our clients to stay long term. That really, reduces the cost for our landlords in the long run. So yeah, Randall, I'll throw to you again. How does Rentvine, I guess, define or measure client satisfaction in some of these areas?
Yeah, it's a great question. And just like I was trying to allude to earlier, one of the challenges as a property manager is understanding the client relationship. And if you're in the United States and you're in one of 46 states, you need a license to be a property manager. And with that license comes, and most of you agents know this, a fiduciary responsibility to that client, meaning that you're going to act in their best interest. But understanding that that is your client, like the property owner is your direct client, but also the tenant is a key customer of yours. So I always differentiate between the two. I say, look, you have clients in property management. Those are your fiduciary duties and responsibilities and relationships, but you also have customers, and that's your tenants. And it takes the combination of both to have a successful property management company. So absolutely, client satisfaction is essential, and it's not just the owner, it's also the tenant. So you need technology and tools that are going to allow you to measure and see how you're doing. And at Rentvine, we take that very seriously. And Kelly, at some point, I'd love to dive into like the NPS score and what that is and what that means for like getting that review feedback. That's how Rentvine's kind of approached it. We're now trying to integrate like an NPS score at the correct decision points or like at the right actions that might happen on a property. We can dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's very cool. Great. So I guess in terms of business growth, you touched on it's also important to, keep that client satisfaction with tenants as well. In the long term, those tenants will sometimes and more often than not become property owners as well. So we want to really maintain those relationships. I guess how does sorry.
I was just going to say, yeah, beyond that, Kelly, like, trying to grow your property management company is like what everybody wants, the secret to growth in property management. And it like every property manager who's got more than 100 doors will tell you that the most valuable business source is referral from existing clients. And so like measuring that client satisfaction, delivering to their needs and their goals is what drives that referral business. That's the easiest client you'll ever acquire. It's costs literally nothing except for great service to get that referral. So absolutely, you have to have, you have to have strategies and technology to try to like measure that.
Yeah, cool. Randall, what are some of the trends that you're seeing with client satisfaction in our industry? Is there anything different, or is there anything we're doing really well?
For sure. Yeah. I think Google reviews, like you have on the screen, are kind of the default. You do need to drive those. Obviously, clients are still relying heavily on those. So, one of the first things you need to do as a property management company is set up a way so that you're getting those Google reviews easier. And that can come from a marketing partner, or it can come from just inserting, the time when a client is going to be most likely to give you a 5-star review. You have a touch point in your process where you're going to say, okay, when am I going to have the happiest client in property management? Well, there's a couple of different times. One is when you first onboard that client and you give them, you show them what you can do. So you want to have some way to ping them at the end of that onboarding process and ask for a Google review. The next biggest one is when you finally place a tenant. And maybe that takes you 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, but that's usually the time when you want to check and see or ask for that Google review. Another one would be if you just completed a maintenance or you caught something. Just think about those different times where you could ask for those reviews. And that's the basic level, the Google review. So that's one thing, Kelly, I will say.
Yeah, great. And that's probably something that we can all take away today as well, as those specific times that we should be asking for those Google reviews. Yeah, is really important about, for getting the most out of our clients. I like that you guys are introducing the NPS score as well. Is that something that's already in play, or is that coming soon?
Yeah, that's in play already. And there's, again, certain times, and if for those of you who are not familiar with NPS score, NPS stands for Net Promoter Score, and it's basically anybody who's had an interaction with a company recently has probably gotten a question that says, how likely are you to refer this business to another, to another person? And that measurement of that score is called NPS. And so Rentvine's built in some of that to be able to easily add on top of okay, we've just finished this maintenance flow. Hey, tenant, how easy was that for you? Would you recommend this software to, to a friend or a relative? And so that's what the NPS is. And it definitely, you can do it in software. You can also do it outside of software. You just need some technology and some ability to track that. But maintenance is a perfect opportunity for that.
Yeah, great. Hey, Alex, is there anything you want to add on the business growth and how you've seen our clients use technology to grow their business?
Yeah, so I've seen our clients use our technology specifically and integrations to save a lot of time so they can focus on, that customer satisfaction and that business growth as a result. I've also seen clients take full advantage of the customization of the communication that goes out from Inspection Express as well. So, being able to add in things like if you'd like to leave us a review after they receive their first 360 inspection, showing that quality of reporting and then prompting them to leave a review, it really helps with building that client satisfaction overall and building their business as well. As a result, what we've also seen is actively using the technology that clients have adopted in their business and that tech stack as their selling point, as a service offering to their, the owners of the property, saying this is how we can service you in the best way possible. And showing that before that client does sign up as well, I think is really important through example reports. And
yeah, that's great, Alex. Thank you. So now we'll just touch on the integration. So why Inspection Express and Rentvine partnered. I just love that Rentvine have an open API. They're all about bringing together the best technology in the industry so that you guys, our clients, have the best stack to then go out and grow your business, enhance that client satisfaction, and work more efficiently as well. So those are all the reasons why we partnered with Rentvine. And yeah, we have onboarded a few clients now. So Alex is going to share at the end a few case studies and the benefits that they've seen so far. But what it means is a seamless integration between the two platforms. So instead of, logging into one and then manually entering in data and losing things, and that compliancy level, I guess, becomes a risk if we are leaving it up to ourselves to remind ourselves to update things. So it's all about having that seamless workflow flow from one platform to the other. So if you are utilizing the Rentvine integration, or you are a Rentvine client and Inspection Express and client as well, and haven't gone ahead and activated that integration, now would be a really, really great time. So it just means that any data that you would need for an inspection flows nicely through from Rentvine, including inspection tasks, and then anything that you go out and finalize on Inspection Express is going to save a nice copy back into Rentvine. So, that would be your one source of truth, where you can then manage your maintenance, vendors, landlords and tenants as well. So yeah, it's just having everything all in the one place and having everything work seamlessly. Is there anything you'd like to add on that, Randall?
Yeah, just to zoom out a little bit, but this partnership is important because it talks about one of the core principles that we have at Rentvine that I think you guys have as well, which is that, oftentimes I think you have to remember that, again, just to go back, like the property manager oftentimes gets like a lower tech stack, or like it feels like the technology is always behind in property management versus investing. And it's a real shame. And that's one of the reasons why we built Rentvine, was to really give property managers the best technology stack, as you said, Kelly. But having said that, like Rentvine has inspections, but Inspection Express is going to take that to this next level. And the integration allows for property managers to use the best technology that they've been able to find, be it Inspection Express. You can use that like cohesively with Rentvine. So in other words, like it feels like both companies are aligned in like our commitment to giving the best technology to property managers and just strengthening their role with how they relate to the owners and to the tenants directly. So I just love that. It really speaks to kind of what gets me up every day, is just listening to property managers, building what they need and want, and being able to integrate with great partners.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that definitely speaks to us as well, and where our values lie and how we've been so successful in what we do is that, making property managers happy. We listen to our clients, we provide them with what they need. So yes, happy to be partners. Just to again touch on those key points of the integration. Obviously, we're improving workflow. So when you are looking for your tech stack, you obviously want to make sure that it's all integrated. And Rentvine and Inspection Express are a great partner. We're enhancing efficiencies and elevating the client experience. So again, coming back to that growth and retention with the client satisfaction. Whatever makes our lives easier as property managers, then in turn allows us to provide a better service to our clients.
And I will say, Kelly, that you guys, you have a great development team. What's amazing is that, the open nature, Rentvine is the only platform on the market that allows for this type of integration, where it's, and we use a term like API, and not everybody knows on the call, like, what is an API? But it basically means that like any bullet point that is inside of the software, inside of Rentvine, can be accessed and written to or pulled out into Inspection Express. And what that means is that, like, as Kelly mentioned, you're going to gather tons of data points as you're going into like doing your inspections, and you want those to be pushed in and have that available to Rentvine, because oftentimes the property manager is not the same person who might be out doing the inspection. And so you're going to want like that property manager to easily review and see everything that was captured on the property. And it adds a whole new layer of capability with that open API.
Yeah, and such a good description of the API. Yeah. Yes. So I guess if we sort of bring in, like I think it's always nice out of these webinars to have something to kind of take away today. So if we are using Rentvine or we're using Inspection Express, what are some things that we can be doing today to help increase that client satisfaction again? Alex, do you want to touch on full transparency and how we're utilizing Inspection Express with 360 inspections, but also bringing in that integration? So if we are sitting there in the office, or we've got a team of VAs who are sitting there plugging away for us, we have that full transparency over our portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the core thing is that, like you said, that access and that full transparency of the property, and having that 360-degree view to rely back on when you are in the office, when you do need to you need to log maintenance and through Rentvine and send it through to your property owner as well. And also when you have teams that are across borders, like you said, with VAs or in another state that need to access the property and see it. So having that digital twin of a property is really, really essential in terms of having that full transparency across your team and also with your maintenance and to your landlords as well. It's super important, you know, the ability to access a property at any time from anywhere and see where your pinpointed maintenance is if you have logged maintenance within your inspection, and being able to then action that accordingly and most efficiently is game changing. You know, it completely cuts out that wasted, for lack of a better word, time, and allows the property manager to do what they do best. And service their clients at the end of the day as well, you know, tying it back to that client satisfaction, you know, for your landlord to be able to sit from the comfort of their own home and see their property and where the maintenance is also very valuable, and it builds that trust and rapport between the client and the property manager.
Yeah, cool. All right, we have a question.
The question is if Inspection Express an app, or how is it to use it? So if you want to explain that.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
If Inspection Express is an app, and how is it to use it?
Okay. Sorry, I've got my lovely facilitator, Monique, here, reading me questions. So someone just asked about Inspection Express. Is it an app, and how do we use it? So we will show you a short video on how you can use Inspection Express, or the functionality. Well, I guess the output, the video is at the end. But Alex, do you want to just give a quick high-level overview of what Inspection Express is?
Yes, so Inspection Express is an app that you access from your phone, and you conduct your inspections. That connects through the app to a 360 camera where you can take a photo in 6 seconds of each room. We also have an AI component as well to the software, which for entry reports, you can generate comments, but essentially that 360 ability for your entry, your routines, but then when you're leaving the property as well, that side-by-side comparison of a before and after a tenancy as well is super important. So it's an app that gives you the ability to conduct all of those inspections within the shortest amount of time possible, but still having that accurate reporting as well.
Yeah, and I guess the main thing is sort of, I guess, mitigating that risk at the end of a tenancy. You'll see when we show you the video, there is a really, really nice side-by-side comparison there, which just means nothing is missed at any inspection when it comes to claiming the bond and getting you know, funds for those repairs. It's easily, you know, you can easily have those conversations with tenants. Randall, is there anything that you'd like to touch on here where Rentvine helps us with that full transparency, maintenance, having that clear visibility over our portfolio, and also faster leasing?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. The importance, there's a lot of steps and processes and routines that make up inspections and are part of like move-ins, move-outs, and it's just important to nail them. So please use this type of technology to be able to give the best experience for your clients. And Alex, you touched on it as well, like the ability of, and that transparency that you're creating with your client, that creates trust. Trust is one of the most important ideals that a property manager needs to develop with their owners for long-term relationships. So just, the visibility, the transparency, responding to maintenance, all of that makes up what can build trust in a property. So I love it.
Cool. Randall, before we move on to our case study, is there anything you would like to share with our viewers today on some new innovations or something we can expect from Rentvine this year?
Well, those who follow Rentvine probably know that we just received a private equity investment a few months ago. We're excited to have another $74 million to grow this business and to develop all of the features that you guys are requesting. On the docket this year, you will see massive changes to how Rentvine is thinking about property management, how it's doing a better job of just strengthening your relationship as a property manager with your owner and tenant. That's our mission, that's our vision, is to be the tech partner that you guys deserve. So that's it.
Awesome. You heard it here, guys. That's great. Wow. Well done on that raise. That's impressive.
Thank you.
So just a couple of testimonials. So these wonderful clients are both using Rentvine and Inspection Express. When we first met Carleen and also Tatiana from Florida Lakes, who we'll touch on as well, they were using other platforms. So they have moved over to Rentvine and Inspection Express, and they're really reaping the benefits of having those two integrated platforms, but also working in the best, working with the best platforms for doing what they're the best in the industry. Alex, these are your clients. Do you want to touch on some, great experiences that Carleen and Tatiana are having?
Yeah, absolutely. And before that, like using these tech stacks and coming to Rentvine and Inspection Express for these clients was like replacing the tools in their tool belts. So rather than a screwdriver, they've now got a drill, and it just completely elevates that whole experience in the way they're doing their job day to day. For Carleen, like she said in her testimonial, the ability to have that paperless system and that seamless integration between two different tech platforms has been completely game changing for her. It's eliminated a lot of that manual workload that a property manager has in terms of admin, but it also allows her to be confident in the storage and safety of her documents and her inspections as well, with that saving of the reports. So it completely offloads that stress or worry in her day to day, and it takes care of that for her. The 360 option, like she said, again, having that marketing video to be able to, show a property virtually to a client. Like I know when I was moving to the US, looking for a rental property and being in Australia was quite difficult, and having a virtual tour to be able to facilitate that inspection was just game changing for me. And Carleen's able to do that within just using the two softwares of Rentvine and Inspection Express. It's giving her all those tools. And then most importantly, the invaluable nature of the 360 comparison for move outs for court preparation. Just giving that extra layer of protection has been game changing as well. With the 360, I always say, and to clients, it removes that gray area between a move in and a move out inspection. You know, when you're taking still images, there's always something that's up for interpretation. Whereas when you have a 360 and it's compared right in front of you, it just removes that grey area. And when you are presenting in court, or you're preparing for court or trying to resolve a dispute before you go to court, it's just completely changed the way and transformed the way she manages properties.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And we've got Tatiana from Florida Lakes, who was using Buildium, I think, and HappyCo before she moved over. And yeah, a great client who's been able to, I guess the first challenge for her was she was finding that a lot of detail was missed at those inspections. You know, going out and capturing photos, you're only sort of seeing a thumbnail on each, which was then hard to prove at the end of a tenancy, you know, that damage had occurred during that tenancy. So actually having the 360 view, she'll get in and out, you know, within 15 minutes, generate the AI comments and have that guaranteed layer that nothing is missed at her inspections. So she has been able to save around $18,000 in costs just with the time that she's saving conducting these 360 inspections. She uses it as a business growth tool really, really well. So whenever she's meeting with a new landlord or a prospective client, she will take her 360 example and show them what they'll be receiving when they lease their property with her, or put their property management with her. And also off market. So if she's got a landlord who's looking to sell, she will provide that 360 to all the prospective, I guess, investors, either in her portfolio or outside. And it just means they get a view of that property without having to disturb the tenant as well. So that's another really good use for the 360. But again, she's loving the two products and how they integrate and make her life so much easier. Oops. So we do have a few questions on the product, which I'll quickly touch on, and then we'll move into the video, which just really gives you a high-level overview of Inspection Express and the output that you're receiving by using it. But by all means, please reach out to us. We're happy to run through a 15 to 20-minute demo is all it will take, and we can run you through how Inspection Express works. There's a few questions on what data we're pulling from Rentvine. So it is your whole property portfolio will sync over to Inspection Express, so you've got visibility of that when you're on the go. At any stage, you can launch into one of those properties, doors, units, and inspect that on the go. And then your finalized reports are actually saving back into Rentvine as well. I don't think we've got the maintenance integrated yet, but that is somewhere where we'll get. So when we report maintenance from an inspection, we'll then in turn be able to feed that back into Rentvine.
I'm excited for that. Oh, it's giving you hearts, Randall.
Yeah, I get excited about those integrations like that. They're so fun.
Absolutely.
And can a tenant conduct their own self-inspection to send to the property manager? So absolutely, we do have tenant guided inspections. Yeah, so obviously something we built out during the lovely days of COVID, which is stuck around, which is great because it is such a time saver again. The great thing about our tenant assisted inspections is that the tenant can't move on until you've reported on each and every area that you've put in the requirement. So that is another thing that we can run you through in more detail.
Also great for customer satisfaction from your tenants, going back to what Randall said with your client and your customer. If you can provide an option for your tenants to be able to do something without going into their home as a property manager, you're increasing that satisfaction overall and hopefully increasing the longevity of their lease. Sorry to interrupt.
No, perfect example of client satisfaction. Absolutely. I'd much rather do it myself than have my property manager come in. Just one other question about the product. Can you use the voice to text instead of typing everything out? So the great thing about Inspection Express is it's one magic wand, tap the button, and it actually reads the 360 image and types out your full comments for you. So we absolutely love that integration and innovation of AI. And you'll see where we'll be able to take that over the next 12 to 18 months as well. So there's no need to spend hours typing your reports, and that's how we've really got our inspection times down by up to 75%, is by utilizing the 360 technology and the AI. It's as easy as one button, and all your comments are generated. There are additional fees for Inspection Express. We are separate companies, but we're going to reach out to all of you and send you some information or book in one of those demos where we can go into the product a bit more. Before we wrap up today, thank you everybody for joining. We're just going to show a short video of Inspection Express. And as I said, we'll reach out. And thank you so much, Randall, for joining us today. It's been awesome to have you on the web.
Thanks for having me. This is great. And thanks to also highlighting a couple of our great customers. We love them.
Yeah, they're wonderful. Yeah. Thanks so much, Randall, and thanks, Alex. We'll close with the video.
Thanks.
Short and sweet. All right, thanks everybody. We'll speak soon.
Thanks.
Bye.